What started out as review bombing of Red Candle Gam's Devotion has escalated over the weekend, and the Taiwanese developer has issued yet another statement and apology in hopes of calming the situation. According to Eurogamer, the issue stems from a small art asset used in-game. A poster that references a years-old meme that mocks Chinese President Xi Jinping over the Chinese government's 2017 censorship-driven ban of Winnie the Pooh movie. It's not the first time a small art asset like this has turned up trouble for a game studio. Many companies have come under fire in the past for using inappropriate images in a shipped game, but for Red Candle Games, an apology and quick fix seemingly have not been able to calm the storm. Shortly after the poster was discovered, Red Candle Games issued a statement on Steam, saying that the art in question was a placeholder that was accidentally included in the final game. However, once the poster caught online eyes, Devotion saw its Steam reviews plummet from overwhelmingly positive to mostly negative. Currently, the listing has recovered to mixed, but have 9,000 negative reviews to 5,800 positive ones. When the art material was made, each teammate was busy working on one's own tasks while chasing the deadline. None of the other colleagues were aware of this. It was until we received a private report made by a player on February 21st that we realized what was exactly written on that art material. Upon learning of this, we immediately replaced the art material within an hour, reads Red Candle Games' second statement on the matter. This is not what we visioned for, but unfortunately the damage has been made. For that, we take full responsibility. We deeply regret and are awfully sorry for the sensitive art material, and that when the incident first came out, we failed to put ourselves into your position. While the fallout started as review bombing, the situation has escalated. Red Candle Games sets its relationship with its publishers in the event, and Winking Skywalker has been terminated and the studio is on the hook for relevant loss based on the terms of their contract. The studio has seen its account on the major Chinese social media site Weibo shut down as well. The developer's third statement on its Steam page mentions that information ranging from incorrectly estimated to intentionally falsified has been making the rounds online, and asks players to shift the focus back to the game's core message while the studio decides how to move forward. Paul Villasque, senior economy designer at King, and Pietro Guardascioni, senior director of envelope design at King. Hero was an action RPG that was developed by King and soft-launched during 2016 in different countries in Asia. In the game, you could choose among three heroes, warrior, mage or archer, to play through levels that consisted of sets of successive combats against groups of enemies of various types. Although the game was cancelled before making it to a global release, the design challenges that we faced during its development gave us some valuable learnings about designing mobile RPGs. The purpose of this article is to collect our experiences while designing some of the systems in the game. The main loop of the game was rather simple. By completing quests, players accumulated gold that could be spent buying new items. Stronger equipment increased the overall power of the hero, which in turn allowed quests of increasing difficulty to be played. With the simple main loop described above, the overall player experience was determined essentially by three game systems. A combat system, consisting of all the elements that contribute to the outcome of a combat and their interrelations. As in many RPGs, these elements include player stats like attack, health and defense. chance of dealing critical damage, elemental or splash damage, etc. The outcome of a combat is determined through the combat equations that relate the status of heroes to those of enemies. For instance, given the attack power of a hero and a monster's health, the equations of combat determine the number of hits it will take to kill that monster. A progression system, which consists of the set of rules that determine how the different hero and monster stats grow as the player progresses through the game. In hero, progression was mainly driven by gear. The status of a character were determined by the gear he had equipped. The higher the level of an item, the more it would contribute to the character's stats. The current level of a hero determined the level of the gear that the hero could equip, and hence the stats that the hero would have. The chest system, which was a random reward system, through which gear was delivered. The chest system consisted of the different types of chests present in the game and the rules to which they were subjected, job price, frequencies, item probabilities. There were chests of many types, each of which had its chances of delivering items of a given rarity. Each of the systems described here could be analyzed on its own. However, the three systems were highly interdependent on each other. For example, since the progression system was essentially driven by gear and gear was obtained by collecting chests, this meant that the chest system was the core driver of progression. Setting up the right chest rules and their job frequency was crucial to fuel an appropriate progression rate for the heroes. On the other hand, the progression system determined how the different hero and enemy stats scale. This in turn determined the outcomes of a combat. Hence, the combat system had to be carefully designed to accommodate the specific character progression we had designed. Finally, the outcome of a combat determined the chests that a player was going to get, which again connects to the progression system. Once we understood these interrelations, it became evident that we needed a way to explore the consequences on the overall player experience that arose from each game system, and its impact on the rest of the systems. We achieved this through a combination of mathematical modeling, prototyping tools, and simulations. In the following, would you like to review some of these approaches? Combat systems are at the heart of any action RPG. When a combat system is coupled to a progression system, they both need to be carefully designed to be compatible with each other. Otherwise, it is possible that a combat that seems to be balanced at some stage in the progression behaves in a completely different way at later stages. To understand this, let's consider a minimal combat system in which a hero and a monster are characterized only by two stats, attack and health. During combat, the hero will have to attack the monster several times until it runs out of health and dies. The number of hits it will take for the monster to die is given by the ratio NHEAH, wherein is the number of hits. Hit is the health of the enemy and dot is the attack of the hero. The higher the enemy health, the larger the number of hits it will take to kill him. The stronger the hero, the smaller the number of hits it will take him to beat the enemy. Although health and attack determine the outcome of a combat, these stats are hidden to the user. The only variable that the user perceives in practice is the number of hits that it will take to kill an enemy or to get killed by it, and not the attack or the health on their own. Hence, we can say that the sensation of combat is given by the number of hits it takes to kill Lottie. On different lines, the hero and enemy stats evolve following the progression system. This means that the parameters at hand depend on the hero level and the enemy level respectively. Hence, the number of hits it will take for a hero of level X to kill an enemy of level Y will be a function of both hero level and enemy level.
NX YHEYAHX.
A main requirement in the design of the game was to preserve the experience of combat through the whole progression. This essentially meant that a hero of level 5 fighting a monster of level 7 would have the same combat perception as if the hero was level 65 and fought an enemy of level 67, as long as the differences in hero and enemy levels were equal.